and I'm an accountant living in Rex, Georgia, suburb of Atlanta. And I'm so glad that I found this company about 11 years ago now. And I was blessed and thankful that I wasn't taking any prescription medication. I was a pretty healthy person prior to consuming the Relive nutritional products. But one thing that I experienced, what probably 80 to 85% of people experience on a daily basis, I was tired, I was sluggish, I didn't have much energy at the end of a day. So I used to take vitamins, did that for 25 plus years, but was still tired and sluggish. Put the vitamins aside and started consuming Relive, introduced to me by my wife, Mildred, who was a registered nurse. Got to consuming it, and to my amazement, the first couple of weeks of taking it consistently, my energy level just went through the ceiling. I had more stamina and endurance. I woke up feeling very refreshed. And because it's nutrition from a food source, I began to lose weight. It's improved my mental clarity and has just taken my health and wellness to a higher dimension that I didn't think I could achieve. I've had 2 colds, Bill, in 11 years, so my immune system is very strong without taking flu shots or anything like that. And so I'm 59, feeling 29. Started with no aches, no pains, no meds, and still no aches, no pains, no meds. So we saw how this nutrition positively affected everyone who consumed it consistently in the necessary quantities, from being on calls such as these, going to presentations, going to conferences, and seeing that compensation plan, Bill. I saw this nutrition as income-producing assets. And we got started from the financial side, and it's been a true blessing for us. The first month, we earned about $250. That really excited us because we had never been in anything that we've earned money the first month. But the first 5 months of doing it consistently on a part-time basis, combined income, about 6 to 8 hours a week we put in, was over $5,800, and that really got our attention. But 2 things happened there, Bill. The first thing was that we didn't attempt to do it by ourselves. We grabbed a hold of that team of support, and with our team of support's help, we shared the entire picture with people, not just the product side. And many people joined us in this, and it's been a blessing for them as well as us. We've earned cash bonuses with the company many months, with our top bonus being $2,500 for placing 4th in the country in volume. We've helped other people to earn cash bonuses too. And we've earned thousands of dollars with this company. And with Lunasun and epigenetics on the horizon, we see the future as being so big and bright for all of us. And this is one of the most purposeful things we have ever done, because we get to impact lives each and every day from a financial standpoint as well as a health and wellness standpoint. So we're excited about the future and where this company is going. Thank you.
Thank you. Has Mildred got a minute to share?
She's not available, Bill. I'm sorry. Okay.
All right. Well, Ronald, thanks for joining us and being on the call tonight. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're so welcome, Bill.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and mute all our lines so we clear up that background noise a little bit. Okay, next we're heading over to Ohio, and I have with us tonight Eloise Vogel. And Eloise, we'd love you to come on and share.
Thank you, Bill. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, go right ahead.
All right. Hi, I'm Eloise Vogel, and my husband and I are grain and livestock farmers in Ohio. And we were introduced to Relive about a year ago. Didn't really think we needed anything. Just thought, well, you know, I'm 54, he's 56. Maybe we ought to take something to just kind of help us along. So we decided to go ahead and give it a whirl. And within the first, like the man before us said, the first thing we noticed is both of us a lot more energy. I always wanted to lay down in the afternoon, didn't need a nap. We both slept better just all through the night. Acid reflux, I was always popping things for that. that went away. I just haven't had any of that trouble. We've been on it for about a year now. My eyesight has actually improved, which that was a surprise. I just got the official that I'm through menopause, and it was a breeze. I didn't really have any issues. About a year ago, before we started on Relive, my doctor told me that my thyroid was low, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go on medicine, so I didn't. But then about 3 or 4 months ago, a year had gone by, and I said, yeah, maybe I better go get it checked out. So I had some blood work done, and my thyroid was fine. The numbers were great, so I know that the Relive did that. Also, my cholesterol, he was getting ready to maybe put me on some medication for that, but he didn't. It went down 40 points, and all of it's good. Like, they combine it, and it's supposed to be below 5. Mine's a 3.2, the good and the bad, like, combination there together. So I'm doing great with that. Two big things that I just can hardly believe. Both my husband and I have no more allergies. We suffered, like I said, we farm. I'm allergic to cats and horses and cows and hay when I would rake the hay. My husband has dust in the bin. I mean, it can get pretty bad when you have allergies. And he noticed after taking the product for 2 weeks, we ran out of one of them. And so we thought, well, we were taking Now and Energize, and well, we'll just keep going. We don't need that Energize. Well, his allergies started coming back, and he said, Eloise, go get me some more of that stuff. So we did, and we take that, and I mean, I feel like I want to put this banner up that says I'm not lying, because I can hardly believe it, but it's so true. We do not have allergies as long as we take our Relive, and it's been wonderful. I have osteoarthritis, even at a younger age. I'm 55 right now. I've had a knee surgery and a shoulder surgery and a wrist surgery, and was looking at other surgeries on my other knee and my other shoulder. But because we've been taking this, I'm telling you, I can walk up the steps. I used to have to do one step at a time. I don't have the crackling in my knees and the grinding. As we know, Artheffect is been just a wonderful product, and I take that, and so my joints are very fluid. I don't have any more pain. In fact, my son was over here a few weeks ago and wanted some Advil, and I had trouble finding it. I haven't gotten it, needed it at all. My dad passed away of Parkinson's several years ago, and within his family, 3 of his brothers have it and his mother had it. So I'm feeling like, well, maybe that's in my future. So I feel a lot more confident and at rest knowing that I am on these products that absolutely put my immune system to the tip-top shape, and it's kind of eased my mind. My husband had terrible, terrible leg cramps. I mean, they would wake him up in the night, terrible. Those went away. He's got off of his cholesterol medicine. His blood sugar, there's diabetes in his side, and it was inching up there to the pre-diabetic stage. And his blood sugar ranges are wonderful now. And we both really like it that if we are working hard, which we always work hard, but we're in the garden, maybe doing something a little extra, and we know we're going to be sore and achy the next day, we'll just take some Provantage, and we do not have an ache or pain at all. We'll just add that to our shake. And it's just wonderful. Just really, really quick, my son has done it for eczema. My mom and my husband's mom are both on it, and they have great blood work, and they feel good. They're ages 72 and 80. We absolutely love the Relive people. I have tried to go to everything that I can. I've been to several conferences. The quality of people that is in Relive is absolutely unexplainable. They really are a family. And I, without a doubt, both of us, we will always, always take our Relive. And I am ever so very, very grateful to the person who introduced it to me. I'm so excited about the future, and that we're both going to feel good. So thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm thinking back to your stories, and as I recall, one of you had some issues with acid reflux?
Yes, both of us. And we popped a lot of it. My son actually as well had it very bad, into the point where they were thinking about a surgery, and he is taking it, and it's getting a lot better. But he's not as consistent taking it as he should be. I think it would be better. But as for us, just the regular acid reflux, yeah, we didn't have any problems. We don't have any problems. I mean, at all. It's just,
That's
it's
great.
wonderful.
Eloise, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, now we're heading over to another part of Ohio, and a real treat for me to have with us tonight Linda Russell. Linda has certainly had some powerful results in her husband and her sister. It's our pleasure, Linda. We certainly love you to share for us.
Hi, Bill.
Yeah.
As you said, my name is Linda Russell. I'm from Latonia, Ohio, and I'm a case manager. I work with recovering addicts and alcoholics. I've been a juvenile diabetic for 50 years, and from the time that I was diagnosed, I was very brittle. I had highs, lows. I never had anything that were mediums. I had lows which ended up in convulsions. One time I broke my ribs in a store that I was in. I was on multiple shots. That did not help. I was put on an insulin pump. That helped me for a little bit, but not anything major. I've been on a pump for, I think, about 32 years. I had arthritis, and I'd come home from work, and my legs would just throb and ache. And I had degenerative arthritis in the top, middle, and lower back, and it would feel like a knife was in my back. And the pain was like a toothache that just wouldn't go away. I had high cholesterol. And when I was introduced to Relive, I really didn't believe a powder in a can could help me. I actually told the woman when she was sharing with me that I just didn't think this was real. She asked if I would listen to some other stories with some diabetics, and I let her do that. So for 2 months, she got me in touch with people all over the world. Basically, I started even keeping track on a map of where they were. I ended up going to my husband, and I said I thought that I should find out if these were really true or not. I talked to my doctor, and I think he thought like I thought. He said, well, go ahead and try it. And so I committed to go on Relive for 3 months. I started on Classic and Energized, but it was when I added the fiber store that it was like I flipped the switch. My highs started coming down. My lows started coming up. I got more energy. In 3 months, I had lab work done, and my doctor just couldn't believe the results. My A1C had come down. My cholesterol had dropped 40 points. And my husband came to me and said, when are you going to put me on Relive? So we ended up joining the business, and my husband's a type 2 diabetic. He had high cholesterol, high blood pressure, asthma, and sleep apnea. All have improved with him being on the products. The pain in my legs that I had talked about, when I was on the product for about 4.5 months, that left. The pain in my back stayed. So I tried Orthofect, I tried CodeVantage, and I just wasn't getting results with that. So one day I started thinking about Dr. Ted and the story about him getting out of the wheelchair on Classic. And I thought, if he got out of that wheelchair, maybe I needed to try that. So I doubled my Classic, and in 2 months my pain started to subside. My sister Kate, she has scleroderma since she was 13, and Kate started to see some major health issues affecting her life. She couldn't sit in a chair more than about 10 minutes, and she couldn't sleep for longer than about an hour and a half a night. I talked to her about going on Relive, and she was real reluctant, and I kept on saying, what's going on with you? And she said, well, because of my irritable bowel problems, every time I've gone on supplements, I just about die because that gets so bad. So finally she saw me at a reunion. She lives in Wyoming, I live in Ohio, and she decided to go ahead and try it. In 2 weeks, she started getting results. She called me one day, left a message on my phone, and she said, if this goes off the market, I'm going to buy it on the black market. We kind of kid about that still today.
Linda, a lot of the people don't know what scleroderma is that your sister dealt with. Why don't you explain what she was dealing with?
Okay. Scleroderma is all of the organs in your body just gets rigid. You lose the elasticity in your body. And so those things are definitely affecting her.
They call them rock people sometimes. Their skin gets so tight.
Right. She couldn't even put a spoon in her mouth when she was younger. Now she's sleeping through the night. She's painted a whole house that she is, a little house that she built. She said to me the other day, if I wasn't on Relive, I never would be able to do any of these things. She has energy. She's just doing great. The last thing I want to share is my husband was diagnosed with cancer in 2012. And due to his treatment, he was on radiation and chemo, and he had to have a feeding tube for 5.5 months. And we put Relive into his feeding tube. And I believe it was the Relive products that brought him through that radiation and chemo that was so rough. He had treatment for 4 years. He is now cancer-free for 9 months, thank God. And for me, I've been taking the product since October of 2010. And one day I was driving down the road, and I can remember I almost stopped the car because I thought to myself, this must be what it feels like to be healthy.
Huh.
And so I believe that this powder in a can change lives, because it certainly changed many people that I know. And I will be forever grateful to the woman that introduced me to Relive, and that she just didn't give up. She just kept on pursuing it, because it definitely has changed my life.
That's great. Linda, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us and sharing some of your family's Relive results. Thanks again.
Yes.
Well, next we head over to Illinois. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce you to Mary Peters. And Mary and her husband Michael are ambassadors with Relive, and they've had some wonderful results on the product, but they've also turned around and reached out and made a difference in a lot of people's lives as they've built a Relive business. And it's our pleasure to have Mary with us tonight. So, Mary, we'd love you to come on and share.
Thank you, Bill, for inviting me. Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Peters. I'm from Lombard, Illinois. And when I learned about this company, it was 20 years ago. At that time in my life, I had been practicing as a registered nurse. I had practiced 17 years working with cardiac patients, diabetics. My last position was I was working on a ventilator unit, and it was very stressful. And at home, I had just had my 7th baby. My oldest was 10, and I just felt like a spinning top. I was working about 30 hours a week as a nurse, taking care of the kids at home. I felt like I really didn't get a lot of sleep. I had very low energy, very debilitating migraines. I was seeing a chiropractor for back pain. I was overweight, and I was lifting patients at work, and I was coming home and lifting toddlers and babies, and it just kept aggravating my back pain. Out of my 7 children, 5 of them were using asthma and allergy meds, nebulizers. I would, have my stethoscope from work, and I'd be listening to kids' lungs, and I could hear wheezing, and I'd be given treatments at home, and I just felt like I lived in my pediatrician's office. It just seemed like I had a little, because my kids were close in age, everything that they caught they'd give it to the next kid. So I was constantly giving them antibiotics for all different kinds of things. They had very poor immune systems. My husband had been having irritable bowel for 15 years. It affected, where we went. We really couldn't travel far. He was overweight, and he had a lot of fatigue as well. So that's where we were with our health. With our finances, we were going into debt about $800 a month. We were struggling just to buy groceries, just to do basics, and I really felt like there was no way out. And I think a lot of times people reach a point in their lives with their health and their business, and it becomes their new normal. They just think, well, this is my life. There's no other way around it. I just have to accept it and just kind of deal with it. And when I learned about this company, it was such a blessing because it gave us hope. And for the first time in my life, I felt like we could do something about both of those. So I put all of our family on these products. We actually came in at the highest profit margin to get a lot of product in our house. And within 3 months, I was able to get the kids off of all of their allergy and asthma meds, no more nebulizer treatments. I was even, I was putting it in my toddler's little sippy cups. I was sprinkling it on food when I was spoon feeding my son. I mean, we were just getting into our kids all the time. So I saw my kids get healthy. I had relief of my migraines in 3 months, stopped seeing a chiropractor, started to lose weight. I eventually went on to lose 30 pounds. I definitely saw energy, and my husband had relief in about 6 months of all of his digestive symptoms, and he definitely saw energy. So completely changed the course of our health. None of the stress in our lives really changed. I was still working, and with my job, I was still taking care of my kids, but I was handling stress better because I felt better. So I just was so excited that I thought, I am not a salesperson, but when I find something I like, I'm not afraid to tell people about it, and that's what I started to do. And because we came in at that highest profit margin, by the 4th month, I had earned a $400 bonus, just kept sharing it with people, and within 1 year, I matched my nursing income. So I decided at that point to leave nursing. I've now been working with Relive for 20 years. I just love the family freedom. I actually went on to have 2 more children when I was in my 40s. I used this Relive as my prenatal. They were the healthiest pregnancies. I bounced back quickly, energy, didn't gain as much weight. And so now our youngest is 15, our oldest is 31, and we have small grandchildren that we're able to spend time with. And everyone in our family uses this. This is like our wellness program. A lot of my kids do long distance running. Several of them have gone the Chicago Marathon, and they'll use this as their training for the marathon. I have girls in high school that use this for track and cross country, and the biggest blessing is this is just keeping us healthy. And I think the other thing too is the extras that it's given us financially is the ability to get braces for the kids or go buy a new car when we need one, take vacations. We're putting our 7th child through college. It's all those extra things that if I was still working as a nurse, I would probably be working 40-plus hours a week. I would not have the family time I have, and I would just have so much stress, and we would still probably all be very sick. So the biggest thing this has given our family is hope, and that's really all I try to do is just pass on to other people if they're willing to listen. The hope that this gave us 20 years ago, and I'm just really grateful that I was willing to listen.
That's great. Hold on a second. Let me make sure these lines are muted. There we go. Wow. Wonderful testimony of what's happened for you and your family, your kids. You were one busy mom, so working as an RN, and my goodness, 7 kids under 10, and all 5 of them with lots of issues. I mean, you were one busy, hectic mom, and then Relive came into your life. So you began sharing Relive. So how did you weave the Relive business side of reaching out and helping other people into your busy life?
Well, 20 years ago, cell phones were not really a thing. I mean, cell phones were as big as a brick, really. Nobody really had them that much. Yeah. So I would do a lot of my calls during nap time because I had less children awake. I had kids sleeping. So I would actually, I would bring out toys that I only used with my Relive calls. And those were like the Relive toys that the kids played with, and I would do calls. Then I would go to the meetings, the trainings. I just really wanted to inundate myself with, surround myself with other people that were successful. And I think the thing is that I did something every single day. Sometimes it would only be one phone call. Sometimes it would be more. But I think the thing is that I was very consistent in doing something every day. And even when it was my lunch hour, when I got a cell phone and it was like maybe a lunch hour that I was able to go out and, share with other people. I would like talk to the people that I worked with. I would, talk to the people that that I was like the patients that I was taking care of. I would ask if I could meet them after work to talk with them. I just used every opportunity I could. And I really find that I kind of thrive on busyness. So it forced me to become more productive, and it forced me to use my time better. So I just kind of got a little bit better at that every day.
There you go. Well, it sounded like you were proactive. You were intentional in what you do. the people who are in Relive absolutely fall in love with the results that they're seeing and hearing. And but if we're going to make a difference in people's lives, we've got to talk to them. And you've got to be intentional about that, and that's certainly what you did. And so you've reached out, and now your business has grown and grown. Relive takes a life of its own. It goes all over the place.
That's really true. I think you definitely have to be proactive about this. Really, no one's going to come knocking on your door asking you, if you sell Relive. You have to go out there and really make things happen. And I think the more you do it, the more comfortable you become, and it gets easier. It's just that consistency of being proactive every day. Yeah.
Well, it depends on where your heart is. If people are nervous about talking to other people, they're thinking about themselves. But when we really get a heart to make a difference in other people's lives, and you believe that this could be the answer to their prayer, there's a passion that stirs up inside that you want to get there, and you want to reach out, and you want to talk to that person. What if this is the answer to the prayer that they've been looking for, whether it's for their health or for their finances or the business? So we get to be a part of this process of being difference makers with Relive, and what a joy that is.
Yes.
Well, Mary, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us and sharing part of your Relive journey with us here tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Well, I have one more guest for you, and what a treat. I get to introduce you tonight to Trish Fisher. Patty and I have known Trish a long time. So appreciate her and her heart and to make a difference in people's lives. She has a real passion for Relive and for people. And it's our joy to have her tonight. She's a Presidential Gold Ambassador. That's about as big a title in Relive as you can get. She's had good results in her family, but she's made a real difference in a lot of people's lives. And she's been a teacher. So in Relive, she's been able to reach out and teach other people how to do the Relive business. And it's our pleasure, our honor to have Trish with us to share tonight. So, Trish, we'd love you to do that.
Well, I'm happy to do that. And my name is Trish Fisher. My husband, Doug, and I live in Colorado Springs. We have for the last 9 years. But the first 10 years of our Relive business, we were living in Omaha, Nebraska. It's interesting. I remember being on a trip with Mary and her husband, and Mary and I just were aghast at how many things we have in common. I'm actually from Chicago. We have 8 kids instead of 9. Our youngest is 17, and our oldest is 31, very close to the ages of her kids. We both are nurses. We just have a lot in common. But and I have to say, kind of jumping ahead in my story, when you get a chance to go on these Relive trips, because we work hard and earn them, you get a chance to meet awesome people like you've heard on this call, and it was so neat for Mary and me to get to know each other on that trip. But I've been involved in Relive for 19 years, and that's a long time too. We had 7 kids at the time. I was not working as a nurse at the time. I'd already made that decision to be a stay-at-home mom. And my husband was working with a job where he traveled Monday morning through Thursday night, came home exhausted, and still went to work on Friday, came home more exhausted, did some honeydew chores and mowing the lawn, etc. on Saturday. We went to church on Sunday, then he packed, and then he left again. That was our life, and I'm very type A. Like Mary, I love being busy, and actually busy people do very well if that's what they like to do, and that's me. We got through, but you know what? We just got through. And I find a lot of people in life just get through, and they get by because what else do you do? Well, my husband's health started to decline, which is why we first looked at Relive. But in learning more about it, my eyes were opened, as all of our eyes are. And I wanted the products for our whole family. I also thought of so many people that I knew. I knew some of them would listen to us. And so we got involved at the top profit level 19 years ago, the day before Thanksgiving, and basically got our family started. I actually began talking to people right away before we got results because I borrowed the strength of other people's stories, just like calls like this and getting people connected to my sponsor. We got great results with these products. A lot of normal things, a lot of things you've heard already on this call. In 19 years, only 4 of my kids have needed 1 week of antibiotics. Very few colds and flus. My kids also have great results with eczema. They have results with sports. 2 of my kids have done Ironman. They've done marathons out here in Colorado. They hike really tall mountains on a regular basis. And the biggest story with my kids, I think, is as they move out of our house, they continue on these products, but they don't get them free from mom anymore. They buy it. They do get my price. I'm not a mean mom. I let them have my price, but I tell you what, the fact that they stay on it in their young 20s, that's a huge testimony. We also have results we have results with things that we never got. Our kids didn't have a lot of kid issues, but I would say 8 out of 8 kids have amazing focus and amazing grades. There are lots of kids these days in school that have a lot of focus issues and things like that. I can't definitively say that these products are why my kids have a great focus and great grades, but I can say this: they don't have bad focus and they don't have bad grades. I had great results right away with cravings for chocolate, sugar, and caffeine. I lost 8 pounds the first month. I had better sleep, better moods, better energy, and like Mary, we had so much stress. I felt like a single mom. Our stress didn't change either right away, and I was dealing with stress a lot better. I had 15 years of knee pain and also 15 years of eczema. Both of those disappeared completely. My back pain was very significant. I've had 5 really bad car accidents. I had patients fall on me as a nurse and lifted a lot of babies' car seats and laundry baskets through the years, and my back was an absolute mess. I was going to the chiropractor 3 times a week, and I don't mean for a month. I mean every week for years. We paid cash for that. And by the 5th month on Relive, I did not have that back pain, and I was just laughing. My husband and I laughed at that because it was just like, wow, that is so odd. But, I probably go to the chiropractor 3 times a year now, maybe for a tune-up, but I exercise, I hike, ski, run, I do normal things. I don't do anything fast. I'm 58 years old now. I'm not joining the Senior Olympics. Don't look for me on TV. But you know what? I enjoy being active and doing things with my kids and not being a frumpy mom in her 50s that can't do things. So that's a huge result for me. I also used it for prenatals for my last pregnancy and had the easiest and best pregnancy, the only pregnancy of 8 that I did not have headaches, leg cramps, indigestion, or varicose veins. I had the easiest labor, the fastest recovery. I also sailed through menopause, still haven't had a hot flash, and I've been through menopause for 6 years. My husband hasn't had a sinus infection in 19 years, and we have 4 people in our family that cannot even tell they're allergic to pollen, and 2 that cannot tell they're allergic to cats. So immune system, great. We love the results we have. We don't have the kind of results where one of us was dying and now we're not. And we're thankful we weren't in that situation, but we have a lot of very normal but very good results. The biggest part of our story is the freedom and the finances, because I took this business very seriously very early on. This has never been a little candle hobby for me. I've done this quite full time for 19 years. My husband, as early in the game, was able to come to a conference with me and quit the job that made him travel all the time, and we were able to make that decision because we had significant savings that allowed us the freedom to make that decision. But he helped a lot with the house and kids in the early years, and what that meant was that I had time to do calls. And I built an income that doubled his corporate income in 4 years. That's when we reached the ambassador level. We've doubled that number again twice since then. Clearly average about $20,000 a month doing this business. Our highest month in income was over $43,000, and our highest bonus in one check was, I think it was probably 9 years, maybe 10 years ago, that the company had a worldwide, every country involved, year-long sales promotion, and I got first place and got a $100,000 check. And honestly, I used to say that was the biggest one-time financial thing that ever happened to our family, and I'm here to tell you that there's hope for everyone on this call, because it's not true. The biggest financial thing that ever happened to our family in one event was the day we became master affiliates 19 years ago, the day before Thanksgiving. So there isn't any reason that anybody on the phone here cannot duplicate what we've done if they're willing to work as hard as I've worked. And I will tell you, I have made the best friends. We've been all over the world. We love the products. We love the people. We love the company. Why would I ever retire from doing this? We're giving people hope every day, and I love what I do.
That's awesome. Definitely a powerful story. A mom with a lot of kids and have built a huge, huge Relive income. But you said that you didn't treat this like a hobby. You worked hard. And what does working hard at Relive look like, Trish?
Well, like Mary in the very beginning, when my husband still worked, I made sure I did something every day. My goal in the very beginning was to talk to 2 new people every day, not leave messages on their phone, actually engage them in a conversation. And then when I had more time freedom because he came home, I talked to more than 2 people a day. And, I do follow-up every day. I talk to new people every day. I go to the meetings every Tuesday and Saturday. I go to every conference. I go to every man school. I'm always setting Relive appointments and always helping downline and always helping sideline. And I keep my Relive desk in the middle of our family room. And people say, I can't believe you do that right in the middle of the house. Well, that's because I always wanted to know what was going on with my kids. I never wanted to be the mom that was always in the office, that was never around. I'm right in the middle of the house, and they just learned to be quiet around me because that's where Mom works. And I still have my desk there. I actually got to the point every time I walk by my desk, I think to myself, who can I call? Who can I call? Who can I call now? Who can I hook up to hear whose story? And I mean, I do that all the time, and I'm always thinking, who's next? What's next? And I do more than a little things every single day. I do quite a few hours of Relive every day, but I do it 6 days a week. This is an exception. I'm being very nice to you, Bill. I'm helping you do your call on Sunday because I don't usually work Sundays. But that's just a personal choice. But I will tell you, the 6 days that I do work, I work. If this is something that somebody believes they're supposed to be doing, then they need to show up for work. And it's not a casual thing that I mention Relive to somebody every month. I also pray about my business, and I'll throw this in here because it was interesting the other day. I just was praying for my business and asking God to bring people to me. And that very day, I had 2 people who've been customers for the longest time with me. They called me that day, and they just said, "We are ready to get involved in this business, and what's next?" And I'll tell you what. That was just a neat blessing that day. It just put a big smile on my face.
And, it's interesting. Katie Dean, there's a famous story about Katie Dean and how in the beginning she only wanted to talk to people about the product and help them, with their health. And the reality is if you share the business, you help a lot more people. And the one who earns the biggest check is actually helping the most people.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And our business has touched and impacted thousands and thousands, not of people, but of families around 9 different countries. My business might be in more than 9, but I'm aware of 9.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's powerful, being a difference maker, being a part of this process of there's a lot of hurting people out there. There's people hurting with their health. There's people hurting with their finances. There's people hurting just with their family. They're stressed out. And Relive is an answer for a lot of people. Not everyone is going to grab it, but wow, what a joy to be a part of that process when people come on board and we get to see the changes in people's lives. You've seen incredible changes in people's lives.
I'm not the same person either. Neither are you. You've been involved in the business how many years?
Oh, golly, 19.
And Bob's the same as me. And you probably would agree with me. You are not the same person you were back then. I am not.
For sure. For sure. Wow. Well, Trish, I've run out of time. It has certainly been a pleasure. We so appreciate you joining us and taking time out on your day off to join and share with us. We appreciate it so much. Thank you.
You owe me.
You know, it's one big family of one reaching out and helping another, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's my pleasure, and it was fun to hear the call. I took notes like crazy.
Good girl.
Of all these people's stories.
Thanks, Trish. All right, everyone, we're going to wrap up there for tonight. I want to thank everyone who shared. Again, this call is recorded. You'll be able to access this call or any of the other 249 other weeks of testimonies